What's up? This is just going to be like a PSA video. Because I got to tell you, and I see it a lot online about these cheap, no-name VM22 carburetors. This is a no-name from Amazon. This is on sale right now for 30 bucks, this kit. It's the carburetor. It's the intake. That little adapter fucking thingy. Air filter, which is a nice one. Breather line. Gasket. Rubber gasket. Filter. Hardware. The only thing with this is, in the mini bike world, the jet in here is not going to work. So, pick up these. These are main jets. 10 bucks. These are 10 bucks. And I'm going to snatch the 130 out of here and use that. Now, I like the 24mm Mikuni, but I'm quite sure this will outperform or perform just as well, because last night is me, Jupiter Jack, and Wes, and we're down by the Philly Zoo, and we just hammered the things to the fucking floor. Me and Jupiter Jack are going at it. He's got me stretched by about 12 inches. We're rolling. I have a 224 built with a 24mm Mikuni. He has a built 236 with a 24mm Mikuni. He's only got that on because his 28 was acting up. But nevertheless, they're genuine 24mm Mikunis. Now, here's Wes with a moderately built 212 knocking at our back door, like blinking his hazard lights. He wants to pass. And he comes up along the right side of us and he passes us like we're damn near standing still. Running one of these carburetors. The same carburetor with a 130 jet in it. And I see a lot of people on these sites, on these Facebook pages and whatnot, talking shit about this carburetor. Guys, this is the best carburetor for the money. I probably am not going to buy 24mm Mikunis no more, because what's the fucking point? Now, it's rumored that this is not a 22, but a 26. So that might have something to do with it. Right around in the Venturi, I guess, up top to bottom, is supposed to be 26mm. I can't get my calipers in there to actually verify that, but I really don't give a shit. This carburetor just works. Now, two big problems that people are having with these: they say they don't work, they're acting up, they idle high, they only run with the choke on. Two problems. You need to pay attention to this. As big as this carb is, it comes with like a 95 jet in it, which is nothing. A 95 jet is good for maybe a 125. That jet, that main jet, has to be changed. The pilot does not. I have not changed the pilot in these at all. The main jet has to be changed. For my elevation, these things like 130. And I'm in Philly, Pennsylvania. I don't know what our elevation is, but we're pretty low, so we can run rich. This thing needs a 130 main. Maybe higher elevations, 120. But that 95 jet will not work. It has to be changed. Number two, and this is the biggest problem I see with everybody. Got a nice little gasket here that works. Now, it's supposed to mount up to here. You notice, it's slotted. The biggest problem is when people mount these, and you probably can't see in it. Let me see if I can light the phone up. Alright, that'll work. Is they have it off like that. That's a vacuum leak. Up there, off, vacuum leak. Over there, off, vacuum leak. Vacuum leak, so on and so forth. Don't run this piece of shit. That's just going to cause you more vacuum leaks. Now, you have to mount this carburetor to this intake. This is the pain in the ass part. It has to be mounted to the intake first. And you see that around there? It's a perfect line. It's lined up perfectly. You don't want that gasket off to the side there. You can see it a little bit, where you're going to have a vacuum leak. That is the number 2 biggest problem everybody's having with these carburetors, and they do not realize. Also, before you mount it up, you're going to mock it up against your intake on your head to make sure when you mount it, your carburetor ain't tilted. The carburetor has to be straight. So you're going to have to mess around with it. It takes a little bit of tinkering, but you must make sure it's lined up straight up and down, because you know you're going to have the fuel coming out of the bleeders. And that gasket has to be lined up perfectly in the middle. You can go a little bit one way, a little bit another, and it's a pain in the ass. But when it's tightened up and you're good to go, that's it. You're done. You do not have to touch it again. If you have to take this thing off, you take it off from here. Intake to the head. This thing will probably just cause you problems. Because now you got to line 2 pieces up. Because this has got to be lined with here. And that's got to be lined with there. So don't even worry about that fucking thing. That's supposed to be an isolator to isolate the heat from the carburetor. It's really not an issue. It really isn't. So that's the 2 biggest things, is that jet and lining this intake up. This intake has to be lined. And I see a lot of people with that. They're like, it runs with the choke on, or idles high, or just acts up, and blah, blah, blah. This has to be lined up. This carburetor has to go on the intake first, and then the intake to the head. I can't stress that enough. Also, another stupid thing I see is brand new gaskets. Gotta use a nice clean gasket, because there's not a whole lot of meat around here with this gasket meeting up. Be nice if the gasket was the size of that, but this will cause vacuum leaks and cause the same problem. Have to run with the choke on. It is not the carburetor. It is not the carb. It is a vacuum leak. This gasket, you got to tighten this down a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little. Don't go cranking one end down, because it'll try to push the gasket out one end or cut it. Just take it down a little bit here and there, here and there, here and there, and snug it down. Actually, it's backwards. Nope, I had it the right way. That causes vacuum leaks too. And make sure there's no gasket material on your head. Clean that off. That's another thing. It is not the carburetor that's the issue. I see a lot of people with that. These are junk and they don't work. The fuck they don't. I had a genuine Mikuni 22 from OMB, and it did not work as good as this did. It didn't work as good as this at all. The throttle response wasn't that great. No matter how much I adjusted it, it was okay. But these, I don't have any problems with. I have one of these on the Bandit, the 196 bike. And I was going to put a 24 Mikuni on it. I'm not. I'm just not going to do it now. That thing runs its ass off. Also, I had somebody in one of my comments say, if you put a 212 head on a 196, it don't run as good. Bullshit. I have a 24 millimeter Mikuni, or what am I saying? A 224 head on my 196 bike, and that thing's fucking fast. I believe it's actually faster than the General. I don't know. I haven't even really maxed that out. I got 60 mile an hour out of it and had to let out because I was coming up to an intersection or a light or something like that. But anyway, Wes has one of these on his bike. That bike is fucking fast. He is, as far as last night, he is the fastest small block in Philly. I'm convinced. He took the title away from me and Jupiter Jack. For now. It's always, we're always going back and forth. But he is fast, and we're actually going uphill too. We're going slightly uphill. He passed us like we were standing still. I was cracking my ass, laughing. It was fucking great. And he's got a very mildly built motor. I wouldn't say it's mildly built. No, not now, because he's got the poured and polished head and all that. But he has stamped rockers, and they're kind of sketchy with heavy valve springs. But he's running one of these. It's a 130 jet in it. It was my motor. The carburetor and all went with it. So I know what's inside of it. Nothing special. That thing ran its ass off, and he rolled by us like we were standing still, no problem. The 196 bike, the Bandit, runs its ass off with one of these. I'm kind of tempted to put one of these on the General. I really am, to see what it'll do. This one's for the I'm probably gonna pick one up anyhow. This one's for the Yasuza bike. That one over there, don't mind me, or on a stand. It's gonna go on a Briggs motor. I'm hoping this thing ain't gonna choke the shit out of that Briggs motor, because, you know, Briggses are no way as good as the fucking Predators and Hondas and shit like that. But if I have to jet it down and limit the travel to slide, I'll just do something like that. But we'll figure it out. But I want a good, reliable carb on it that I can get parts for. So this is just kind of a quick video about these Amazon VM22s. This carb right now is $30 without the jets. The jets are only $10. So for $40, you get a good performing fuel management system, dude. You can't go wrong with this. Like I said, if anybody sits there and tells you online, oh, you got to go Nibby or Mikuni or PWK. I don't like PWK. They're very temperamental. Some people I know, they work out great for. And then some people, including myself, they leak. They act the fuck up top end for no reason. The power valves don't always work. And whatever. This will outperform that VM anyhow. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. To all the haters about these cheap ones, this is not a real Mikuni. This is a Chinese knockoff. Doesn't even say China. Probably God knows where the hell it was made at. But these work. They work. And I wish I had a dyno to see, you know, to compare the numbers. I really do. Maybe one day I'll be able to snatch up a dyno from somewhere or get access to one. But this is probably one of the cheapest horsepower upgrades you can get for any of these motors. And I will challenge anybody that says the different and says these are junk. One of the biggest things, if you leave it the hell outside, that's going to get jammed up. But that's going to fuck any carburetor up, leaving it outside. She needs a little bit of lube. But I wanted to make this video. I just thought about it. I just had to say it. I am really impressed with these cheap carburetors. For complete, you know, buying the jets also, $40. You cannot beat it. Can't beat it. Like I said, I probably will never buy a 24mm Mikuni again, because these carburetors will do the deed. Let's see. That's your idle right there. And that there is your low end. Really don't have to mess with these too much. But if you do, it's easy. It really is. It's just, the only thing is you got to stick a screwdriver up there. But it's easy. I got a video all the way back on tuning. I'm not even going to get into that because I'd have to refresh myself on it. But that's going to be it for this one. Leave a comment. If anybody's ever used these, your experience on them, let me know. And maybe I could try to help you if you have a problem. But like I said, this alignment and this jet are the biggest problems. It is not the carburetor. It's the jet and the alignment. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, if you keep them clean, they work their asses off. And I like to use the thumb throttles, the cheap ones from Amazon. They're black, and they work perfectly on these. There's no shimming needed, no nothing. Not like the Mikuni. I got to mess around with it, and I got to cut the back of the thumb throttle off to get full travel. These things get full travel real easy on standard cables. These things are great. I think I'm going to start buying a shitload of them just for the hell of it to have them. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching.